proudest day and the proudest time in the seat of a rally car, because that day and that hour and those minutes, I got the bit between my teeth. You know, I really stood up and was counted and said, this is not getting away. I remember when we pulled on our helmets and Donald says to me, what are we doing? I said, we're going for gold, Barrett. That's all was said. I can still picture that run. That was just the best run ever.
Welcome along to Krunching Gears. Let's talk rallying, episode 12. I'm once again joined by Adam Hall from Rally Insight. Adam, you're very welcome along.
Thank you, Kevin.
So we're just after finishing up the Circuit Ireland there at the weekend. What a rally. But we'll talk about a wee bit more about the rally in a few minutes. Just want to just clear a few things up. Like, I don't know the whole ins and outs of the rule book, but my basic understanding of the events that unfolded at the weekend were UAC were running the Circuit Ireland under what they thought was MS UK regulations, but the rally was also a round of the European Rally Trophy. But so that meant that the European regs overruled the MS UK ones. But since the last time the Circuit Ireland ran, there has been a rule change in the European regs, which meant there was no bogey times. And once this was brought to the attention of the club, they made moves to rectify it. And like, this didn't just affect, two stages or one stage, or this affected all the stages. Like, there was also a stage in the Friday evening that nobody ever talked about, that there was, a change in times and one thing and another. So, it was only brought to the attention of the club, I think, on the Saturday afternoon. And as soon as it was highlighted, they made the moves to rectify it. Could it have been handled better? Who knows? It's a small team running the rally, and they're all volunteers. We can all sit behind a keyboard and press buttons and one thing and another. But it is what it is. We hope it didn't take away from the event. Because there's at the end of the day, it's volunteers running that rally. It's huge commitment, huge hours. Some of the comments online afterwards were vile. There's no place for that in Irish rallying. We don't need that kind of thing at all. What would your thoughts on that be, Adam?
Yeah, it's definitely a tough Saturday afternoon for everyone involved. I would say nobody gained anything from it. And yeah, I have to say I feel sorry for Josh and Alistair and Andy and Gordon as well, because it definitely overshadowed things on Saturday afternoon. And thankfully things got sorted before the end of the rally, and we got things back on track just about. But yeah, like if you go back to the rally itself, phenomenal battle between so many different drivers, and at the end of the day, Alistair had an unbelievable turn of pace on Saturday, winning 4 stages in a row to fight back, and yeah, you can't take that away from him. And just seeing the motion of, he was not thinking about bogey times or anything. He was thinking about how hard he could tackle those stages, and trying to do everything that he could to come ahead on the timesheets. So yeah, I have to say fair credit to Josh and Alistair and Andy and Gordy for racing on and giving us a final stage showdown. And you were talking to Alistair earlier today, Kevin, and yeah, I think it's nice to hear how he feels after winning the Circuit of Ireland for the first time.
Alastair Fisher, winner of the Circuit of Ireland 2022. Does it still sound so good 3 days later?
It certainly does. It's a special one to win. So there's a lot of history there, obviously, and to get it over the line, in the sort of the fashion we did, and come back so strong on the Saturday off the event was a great result. And it's made a lot of people very happy. So it's definitely one I'll remember.
Yeah, and like, you're just touching on it there. Like, it's probably the one rally in the whole country that, if you're not asked, a random person in the street, the Circuit Ireland would be that rally that they could name. That makes it that wee bit more special, I suppose.
It does, without a doubt. It's one that it resonates with everybody. As you say, people that aren't really into rallying or don't really understand that much about the sport. Whenever you mention the Circuit of Ireland, it clicks with them. They might have watched one stage 30 years ago, but they still remember because it was near their house, or it was an early morning stage, or they remember the watching the spotlights at night or whatever. So it's just one that was always, I suppose, in people's minds whenever they think of rallying in Ireland. So.
And then the Fisher name also synonymous with rally too, with your uncle Bertie and all too. So nice to have your name, yourself and Gordon's name in that trophy alongside Bertie and Rory's.
Yeah, it certainly is. It's a wee bit. It is taking a wee bit of sinking in, to be honest. Even when we crossed the line and we realised we took 12 seconds on the last stage, it was just the buzz was on, but we were sort of in a bit of euphoria, and then sort of whenever we seen the big trophy in at the finish ramp there, and you would realise your name was going on that alongside all the great names. It's a pretty nice feeling.
Yeah, I think the names on that trophy is like a who's who of rallying in Ireland and across the world, as well.
That's it. Back in the 70s and the 80s, all the guys that were aspiring to be in the World Championship, or even the guys that were World Championship drivers at the time, used to come and do the Circuit of Ireland. It was a big event for the works teams, the Chevettes and the Mantas and so on, and the Escorts, back in the day. So all the big names that came and competed on the Circuit of Ireland, and it is renowned all over the world. Whenever it comes to rallying, it's almost to an extent in the same breath as the likes of Monte Carlo, or just them famous European tarmac events. So when you think of it like that, it's pretty special.
For sure, that's for sure. And we'll concentrate a wee bit on this year's event. Leading up to the event, did you do anything different in your preparation this year, or?
And being honest, I've been putting in a lot of effort, behind the scenes, from this, really from the end of last year, whenever I decided to give the Tarmac Championship a good attack again. It's, I was pretty frustrated over the first sort of two events that I felt that, everything around me was good. The car was good. Gordon and I were making good notes, but it was just probably just that wee lack of seat time, and just that wee lack of, drive and aggression, or really being in the zone where I couldn't just, get the last, 2 or 3 tenths of a second, a kilometre out of things. So I knew that, once I unlocked that, I knew the speed would come, and I just sort of kept believing that, I was doing everything right. And whenever we did set some fastest times in West Cork, which, gave us some confidence. I think ultimately it was probably a wee bit too cautious on the first day and on Friday, over the weekend there. I just felt that I couldn't really, push the way I wanted. I was just sort of too wary of maybe making a mistake or throwing it away, because the championship is, you really need to keep in the hunt. I actually had quite a big moment about half a mile into the very first stage with a real sort of tank slapper. Top speed in 5th gear, was locked down the road in the fog. So that day,
not good for the confidence.
No, it certainly wasn't. We were sort of pretty timid then down the rest of Glendon, and to be honest, until I got into service and sort of got saddled again, it's not often the sort of fact you like that, but it was just one of them moments that day. It sort of sat with you for a couple of hours. So, I suppose over the course of the weekend, we sort of developed the setup of the car as well, and it's never major changes. In the Polo, it's only ever small refinements. There's never anything significantly wrong. It's just minor tweaks just to get the best of the car and just get it, exactly the way you want it. And then really, so it was Friday night, to be fair, we were 35 seconds off the lead, and I knew it was going to take a lot to, to make the difference. But, Gordon and I watched the DVD on Friday night to pretty late. I think we got probably 4 or 5 hours sleep. We were back up again watching it on Saturday morning. just refining the notes and picking up from things we learned on the first day, and really things just started to click. The speed was there in the car and the setup and the notes, and we were just, whenever you get away like that, there's no hesitation. You're just going down the road. You're not even thinking about things, and that's whenever the times come.
I think that must be like such a great feeling. Just whenever you're not even thinking about what you're doing, it's just a natural flow.
Yeah, that's it. Whenever I look back now and at Friday, it was so sort of hesitant or stop start. There was no real massive flow, but whenever it just clicks, it's just like there's nothing to explain it really. The notes come in your ear and it just transfers to what you're doing with
Go
the
through your fingers as such. Yeah.
You're literally not even thinking about it. It's just like everything's to an extent happening in slow motion, but you're going fast down the stage. So that's obviously the ultimate sort of feeling or approach that like you want to have on a stage, but it's obviously it takes a lot to get it to click.
It's that sweet spot that might only come maybe once in a rally or once in a year, maybe even getting it just as nice as that.
Yeah, that's it. And whenever, I suppose we were, I think, second quickest on the first stage out on Saturday morning. I think we were maybe one down on Josh, but just from there, then I was pretty confident in Glendon. It's the sort of stage you like, and I was looking forward to it going up the hill.
Mm-hmm.
It was really technical. It's quite narrow, and there's a lot of driving in it where you have to be pretty technical and smart with how you approach it. So I just felt that we could have, we were well set up for it, and I gave it a good go. And when we got to the end, and I think it was Martin Brady was doing on the pace note, and he said we were whatever it was 6 or 7 quicker. It was a massive relief, and that just gave me sort of the belief to push on from there.
Yeah, because you knew in your heart you had a good stage, and it was nice to see that reflected in the times.
That's it. Whenever you put the effort in, and it's this year so far, it's been really nip and tuck. Whenever you look at some of the times, all the guys were setting in West Cork. I think it was Sam's Cross on the Saturday evening in West Cork. There was 0.4 of a second between 4 of us after we had something like 17 or 18 kilometers. So to be able to win several stages on the circuit by 6-7+ seconds, it was quite a step forward. So
absolutely. And is that something that you get the real buzz out of, getting that the best out of yourself, Gordon, the car, the tires? Is it like that? Whenever you get to the end of the day, is that just the best feeling to step out of that car just thinking you've got the best out of everything that was available to you?
Yeah, it's just whenever it goes right, it is rewarding, because everybody puts the effort in. Right from the guys working on the car, the preparation during the week, testing the car, doing the recce, the guys doing the gravel notes. So whenever it all comes together, everybody's feeling the excitement and enjoying the buzz. But it's fair to say whenever it does go well, you do have to enjoy it, because there's many a day whenever things don't go well, and you're heading home in bad humour. So it's one of them. You have to sort of be grateful as well, because it takes a lot for an event to go right, and to get the win. So we're very thankful.
And as you kind of alluded to there, there's not even one particular thing you can turn around and say, I changed this on Saturday morning and that made the difference. It's just a small combination of everything, really.
Certainly, just all the small things, and that's always over the years. Whenever you study maybe your career or look at things, and all any driver or co-driver will know everything just has to come together, and it's never one big thing that makes the difference. It's just adding everything together, and ultimately in the end it was something that just to an extent did sort of click within me, and when the feeling comes, there's nothing like it, and any driver will tell you that.
Yeah. And then Killarney now in just over a week and a half. It's probably good that you're not out of the seat for too long. So will that give you good confidence going into Killarney?
I feel it will. The stages in Killarney are very fast and committed as well. So it'll give us a good feeling. The setup shouldn't be too far away. And, you know, we're pretty fresh from making pace notes, you know, from the feeling in the car, because, you know, whenever you have maybe 5 or 6 weeks between events, it is quite long. So it should hopefully set us up to, you know, hit the ground running in Killarney. I know some of the guys are doing Monaghan this weekend, but I'm quite happy just to sort of focus on other things. Even though I won't be in the car, I'll just be able to work on things myself, and then, you know, get focused for heading down the road to Killarney.
Always a pleasure to catch up with Alastair Fisher. But like, he was leader at the end of the last stage, but like, the leaders throughout the weekend, like, it was an unbelievable amount of the lead changes we've seen over the weekend. Adam, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think four different crews led the event from start to finish at different points of the rally. Tessie, believe it or not, was the first guy to take the lead fast out of the blocks. And yeah, he looked like he was fairly set to obviously grab the Circuit of Ireland win, and I don't think we saw that coming, did we?
No, definitely not. You know, like, we know he's fast in the Northern Ireland Championship and one thing and another, but to come back and, you know, back at that level again, I thought it may take him a few stages and, you know, maybe struggle to get on that ultimate pace, but my holy Moses, he definitely, you know, right from I think from the first stage, he was fastest at the end of the first stage, and, you know, it all seemed to be very under control.
Yeah, I think the likes of Our Lodge was probably the tough stage of the opening day, you must say, and he just seemed to grab it by its neck and go for it, like. And obviously at the start he was having no issues with the Fiesta like he had in Byrne earlier on, so yeah, it seemed to click. And again, it just shows you that's another crew now capable of winning rallies at this level in Rally 2 cars. That's brilliant.
Absolutely. And then, you know, Callum Devine out in his new Polo. We did kind of hint at it a couple of weeks ago that there would be another top line crew in a Polo. So, but, you know, like, settled into that new car really well and seemed to be loving it, especially on the Friday.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody coming in probably weren't sure whether he would be able to jump in straight away and be on the pace, but yeah, definitely seems to have unlocked another level of speed from him. There's definitely some stages where he was really, really fast, and even, you know, he got into the lead and he got the puncture in Our Lodge as well. But even the time coming out of that, you wouldn't have thought he had a double puncture. Like, he seemed to lose very little. But yeah, it seems like he's happy with that Polo. The same thoughts coming from him. It's easy to drive, and I'm sure once he gets more time in it, and once he gets the few niggly problems with pop-off valves or sensors or whatever's going on there, yeah, he definitely seems more comfortable behind the wheel of that.
Absolutely. And, you know, the man of the year so far, you know, Josh Moffat, again, you know, always in the hunt. Like, he was never far away from the lead. You know, capitalising on other people's wee problems and issues. It's, you know, the man is having a phenomenal season.
Yeah, like he was saying at the start of Friday, he just didn't seem as comfortable in the car, and that's why he was off the pace a wee bit. Like, he definitely wasn't far off the pace, and he did get into the lead then. But yeah, there was that stage on Lyle's Hill, and it just clicked for him. That's all he said. And again, it's just it's pretty cool watching these guys, and they're struggling for a few stages, and then they get that one that clicks, and their facial expressions and their body language completely changes. And even they, you know, you ask them what is the difference here, and the struggle to describe it, that it just seems to work well. And whether it's the weather or they found something different with the tires or the setup, it just clicked for Josh in that stage. And after that, really, he was hunting down Desi and Callum, and eventually got into the lead. And yeah, it sort of looked like we were going to have another Moffat win, which would have been crazy. But yeah, he's so consistent in that car. You know, he's racking the rallies up, and he's in the race every time. So yeah, he's in tremendous form.
I think when I was talking to Alistair, he described, the Saturday, if everything just seemed to click. He didn't have to think about his driving. What was in his ear was in his hands and his feet. Like that.
Yeah.
That must be a surreal experience to have that that natural flow.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's just what's been missing so far this year, and he's found it now. Like, I mean, we mentioned there when it all clicked for Josh in that stage, it changed the timesheets. Like, and Alistair, my goodness, those times on Saturday were crazy. He was pulling 6 seconds, 10 seconds out of guys on single stages, and they had been over them quite a few times. That got familiar with the terrain, and even Cairn Castle, like it's a fast stage, and I think before the event, people weren't expecting that to be the stage where they were seeing big time differences, and he was still managing to do it. So I don't know, maybe he is getting to grips with that polo, where he knows what setup changes to make, or maybe he's getting more confidence and he can get the car working more aggressively, and he's finding this bit of time. But no, I have to say, it was brilliant to see him and Gordon just being able to go flat out and being happy with their times, because I think just through the season they're feeling comfortable that they're not making mistakes, and their times are just a wee bit off, the likes of Josh. But no, that all changed on Saturday.
That's for sure. That is for sure. And as much as it was a disappointment for Josh and Andy to lose out in the rally, but great for the championship in another way. Alistair and Gordon has got it's reignited their championship hopes now as well. Yeah,
Callum was happy at the finish line given all his problems, but that's by no means that these guys don't get on. But he knew with Alistair grabbing that win that it does just make his championship hopes that wee bit more possible, and closes things up. Even with Marion, obviously he didn't get to the finish line, but that sort of helps Devine's case. But yeah, and McCourtin, whatever too, like they're going up and down, and some of them are obviously not finishing every round, and you really don't know what's around the corner. And with so many guys capable of winning each rally, there's definitely nobody now that you can say is a nailed on favourite to take the championship.
And even the likes of Johnny Greer, who had probably by his standards a fairly quiet rally, still come away with 4th place. We can't overlook that. It's a very strong finish too.
Yeah, I think Johnny probably would have liked to be a wee bit closer, but he'll definitely take 4th place points. And again, his weekend just turned into a chance to get the Citroen set up and more accustomed to that style of Irish tarmac, with obviously Glendon again being quite fast and bumpy, and it's a big challenge. So yep. That's the Citroen up to speed there, and yeah, I'm sure next time out Johnny will be on the pace. But yeah, 7, 8 guys there again. That you wouldn't rule out for a win next time out.
That's for sure. So at the finish round, I managed to catch up with Gordon Noble, Callum Devine, and Shane Byrne, and I must apologise to Josh Moffat and Andy Hayes, who I didn't get a chance to speak to. They were obviously a wee bit tied up there on Saturday evening, and I had to head down the road. So without further ado, we'll hear from Gordon Noble first, then Callum, and then Shane. Gordon Noble, 2022 Circuit of Ireland winner. Sounds good?
That sounds fantastic, Kevin. I must say, it's been one of those things that for 30 years I've been dreaming about winning the rally, and this is the time it's actually worked. And I mean, I've made quite a number of efforts, obviously, but none of them worked till today. But I have to thank Alistair for his driving today. It was absolutely superb, I must say. We got the speed going, everything worked, everything clicked, and we got the result that Alistair deserved, I think. So very, very pleased, yeah.
Yeah, like it's been hard work this year to get that last wee percentage, and it's nice to finally unlock it today.
I think that's what it is. It's just that last percent somewhere in there. Alistair's preparation is always excellent and things like that. But I think a couple of other guys have obviously speeded up as well, so it does make it easy. But thankfully this afternoon it all just clicked for us and it worked, and the result came in the end.
Yeah, and then on to Killarney now in a couple of weeks' time.
That's the plan. 2 weeks' time, Killarney Rally, back to traditional stages that we would know some of them, and I didn't say we'd know all of them. Killarney will be a completely different challenge than this. It'll be 2 days of fairly hard going. We expect that people like Callum and Josh will be there as well, going fast, and not going to be easy, but certainly keen to get at it.
Hey, overall we're happy. Hey, we had a really good day yesterday, so we had 7 good stage times. Today we were looking to really push on from, to be honest, and try and see if we could claw on Daisy, but sort of plagued with some we don't really know, but we thought it was pop-off, and we changed that and changed coils and stuff all day, but yeah, the misses kind of sort of been getting worse even for them last two, so yeah, look, hey, to take all that into consideration, hey, to get third and end up, get good points for the championship, sure, we can't complain, you know what I mean, it could be a lot worse, you know, so
and then, the car yesterday, the handling and everything, you just seemed to be loving rallying yesterday.
Ah, dude, hey, and do you know what, I was with me and Shane, I was laughing up on them Grennan on stage. I was just enjoying it, you know, the car just felt the road, and you could feel it, like it would just go so much faster, like, and obviously Ali must have felt the same because he's putting in the times, you know, but look, I would just like that it weren't missing, but hey, we enjoyed it, and as I say, the car, I feel comfortable in the car now.
Good, that's the main thing. And them stages, that Karen Castle stage, like, we've all seen the videos, the jumps, Finland, isn't it?
I think everybody underestimated how big the jumps were. I think there's 3 big jumps, like, and I remember this morning I just seen spectators running, and you know it's big when the spectators running, so no, hey, fantastic stages, and it was nice to get them in the dry there just to see how fast you go with them, you know. And 2 clinker stages, to be honest, like, really enjoyed it that way. Yeah, that's
And Killarney next in the agenda?
Killarney's next, so it is. Killarney's next, so we have a bit of work to do now, try and get the car ready, hopefully we can get the ball on this prod now, so yeah, it's only a week and a half, so I'll be honest, no time. So.
Absolutely delighted. My back took a bit of battering with them jumps. I think every competitor does say that, you know, the jumps were crazy, some of the photos online, but yeah, no, it was a great weekend's racing, so delighted to be here, and after West Cork, you know, it's nice to get the finish. So
yeah. And the new polo, happy with all, a few issues, but
yeah, a few issues over the weekend, but I suppose maybe sometimes a new car and them things are in it, so it's good to get them sorted out this weekend, but no, plenty of progression and a serious thing to go, serious truck, you know, so there's some amount of them on the road there now.
And Killarney then in a couple of weeks' time?
Yeah, Killarney's just round the corner, so now we'll just to get prep done for that, and you know, keep the toe on her, as they say.
Yeah. And then Donegal then in a few weeks' time, your home international too, you'll be looking forward to that as well.
Donegal's coming up as well, so yeah, it's good to see it back again, you know, with a couple of years off, so yeah, there's plenty happening now, and we're looking forward to it.
Excellent.
And Kevin also caught up with Daniel McKenna, who won the 2-wheel drive and national rally in the Circuit of Ireland. Obviously he was out as part of his Irish Tarmac Championship campaign. I guess Daniel didn't have the same competition that he's been used to so far this season, and it gave him a chance to catch up on the guys after he wasn't able to finish Galway at the start of the season. So yeah, we were talking earlier about the main championship closing in. The modifieds is definitely closed in, but I mean, Daniel was in serious form. It's not that he needed 2-wheel drives to battle with. He was battling with the R5s, and just watching some of his in-cars as well. If you haven't seen that, it's definitely worth a look. The man is seriously committed, with Andrew in the notes as well. So a nice part to listen to. But yeah, Kevin caught up with Daniel, and yeah, his battle with Derek McGarty in the end for the national rally.
Daniel McKenna, 2022 Circuit Ireland National Rally winner. Nice ring to it.
Yeah, it is. Wasn't really the intentions coming up here. Like, obviously we're thinking about the modified championship. I suppose that sort of goes hand in hand with the national, but we're battling against some of the latest R5 machinery there, so it's tough enough of a battle. Like once Derek started getting the hang of his new car, he was on the pace there. So, but yeah, we held him off to the end. So it's a pretty good event for us. Like, you know, we've 2 good days in the car and a lot more mileage, and we figured he's holding his dampers out quite well now for the dry. And the gearbox, new 3MO gearbox is working well from Raymond Moore. New AP brakes, the R5 AP brakes were unreal there. Like that's the first time in proper dry conditions. Like, and well, we were in West Cork, but it was the first time I was driving and using them properly. And they're just unbelievable. Like, and then the Michelin tyres too as well. Fine job now.
So confidence is coming back.
Confidence coming back, yeah. Like we had to go to Breville Lick there in that last stage just to stay ahead of Derek. He took 3 out of us with a 5-second cushion, and we just got it. But you know, last thing we want to do is throw a car off the road and do something silly. So we're still safe, but. Yeah, it was a good push, like, but there's still more left there. But yeah, the pace is coming back, thankfully. Yeah, it's 4 rallies in, and it's taking probably longer than I thought. But it's still hard to gauge, like, where the
you don't know who you're competing against yet.
Yeah. But no, I think it's coming there. Like, you know, we'll probably have to go down to Killarney and take a beating down there. But we're going to, you know, have to go to Killarney a couple of times, you know, and try and learn the stages, learn the roads. I suppose it's the same for the guys down south coming up to Donegal. Going to West Cork and what have you. So yeah, we'll just have to go down there, take our medicine, and try and get some good points for the championship. And
great to catch up with Daniel there, and good to see that he's happy with his pace and looking forward to Killarney. It'll be interesting to see how that goes for him too, with all the main protagonists back there in the championship. I also got a chance to catch up with a longer chat with Andrew Grennan as well. Very interesting conversation. But sure, we'll hand it over to Andrew. Andrew, you wanted to start off by paying your respects to Johnny Traynor.
Yes, it's not news that we'd like to get at all. We're actually we're at a friend's funeral yesterday evening, Charlie Adams, who passed away, and we were having a few drinks and the word came through. But Johnny passed away, and my uncle Fitton would be very close to Johnny, and also Bobby, who looks after the rally car for us, would be very friendly with Johnny, like, you know, and they're badly cut up about it too, you know, and he's a good lad, Johnny, you know, very young and taken too early, you know, but that's just the way it is, you know. But I was very sad now for him. Fitton and them were very upset about it, you know, but it's a pity, like, you know, but it's just a part of life in another way too, you know what I mean? And
unfortunately, yeah.
It'll be hard on his own family and that, but hopefully they'll get a bit of solace out of what he had done before he has passed, you know. He would hope so, you know. So
yeah, because he packed a lot into that short life too, didn't he? You know,
he sure did. Yeah, he did. He wasn't afraid to turn his hand to any sort of discipline in motorsport, like, and I even seen somebody paying tribute to him, and they showed a picture of him flying an airplane, like, you know. So yeah, he packed a lot in for a young lad, like, you know, and I'm sure there was a lot more to come from Johnny, and it's just a pity that his life got cut short.
Yeah,
you know, with an accident.
That's it. So we'll look back now at the last weekend, the Circuit Ireland. Good to take that National Rally 1. Yeah,
it was strange in a sense, because we'd been rallying for the most of the day on Friday without, you know, having the regulars there to try and benchmark ourselves against anybody. And then it was only like Friday night when we were looking through, and I looked and seen that we only really had like a 17-second cushion to Derek McGarty to win the national. And I said to Daniel, I said, this man's getting the hang of this polo. You could see his times were getting better and better as the day was going on Friday, you know. So I says, we'll not have to be snoozing the day, because I says, he'll you know, and he'll catch up with us. And he did catch up with us. So it left it good to go into the last stage to have a scrap in our hands, and one that we maybe didn't think we were going to have, you know what I mean? Not saying that we didn't think we maybe would be leading the national, you know. We were looking at the two-wheel drive thing as opposed to looking at the national, but that's the way it works. So it was really good for us to get into that bit of a scrap with him too, and you know, have something to push towards, like, you know. And we had a really good run on the last stage, really clean, and it was a quick run, and like, we're happy that we just done enough to get through and to win the national. It was lovely actually to win the national, you know. Yeah. So and in the lead up to the rally, you know what I mean, we didn't think we'd have as good a rally, or was going to be as good a rally. It was actually a really good 2 days there, you know. And the stages were class. Now there was a lot of additional chicanes and bales put into the stages to try and keep them underneath the bogey time, you know, because but they were still really, really good stages, like, and we really enjoyed them, and they were class stages. We've done bits of both of them stages before. Myself and Daniel, when we done the Ulster back in, I think it was 2010, in Derek Jobs Evo. Aye.
Yeah.
So we had done, but not that they were well gone out of the memory, but
Yes.
you just knew that you'd been on them roads before, you know, and they're really good, and they suited the car too, and they suited Daniel's sort of style of driving, you know what I mean? I was looking at some of the in-car since, like, you know, and using a lot of the road, you know, and placing the car on the wide roads and in the correct places, you know, to get the best lines for the corners and that. So yeah, it was really good event for us to go to and to try and build on, because like we were starting off from scratch really in Galway, and we were building up a good bit of pace in Galway, and then we unfortunately had the accident, you know, and that sort of it was a huge setback, you know what I mean, for our confidence and for everything. But it's like everything else, it's just seat time, like, you know, and as time goes on, we'll get more and more comfortable in the car, and you know, there'll be more speed to come, like, you know. So we're happy with the win in the national, and we really enjoyed the event, you know. It was a good 2 days rallying for us, you know. It was good.
Yeah.
And the car never missed a bat, and the lads enjoyed the weekend up. So we were happy, yeah. Good.
And in some ways, maybe that format of 2 stages done 3 times maybe suited just because you were able to go and make wee tweaks in the car and to see if it was making a difference, and you know you were able to develop the whole weekend. If that makes sense.
Definitely, you know, we do the 2 stages and we'd try something else, and you know, Daniel would know how it felt before going over there, and then when we'd make the change, he'd say, well, you know, I like what that done, or I don't like, and we did that. Did occur on a couple of occasions, you know, where we actually made a slight adjustment, we'll say, to the anti-roll bar or to the dampers, you know, and he said, no, that's not any better, or there's no better of a feeling, and we went back, you know. But yeah, coming off the last stage, then, you know, we'll be very happy with where the car is, and we know there's more potential, you know, as we learn more about these dampers, the new Oland's dampers within the car, you know. So we're hoping, like, as we progress on throughout the year, you know, that there'd be more speed to be got out of it, and it was an ideal rally for us to do that, and we sort of needed a rally like that to try and find where we needed to get the car to be, you know. So I'd say it'd leave us in good stead going to Killarney, you know what I mean. Obviously we wouldn't have the knowledge there in Killarney, but we're happy with where the car's at, that we can push on, you know, and hopefully not be a million miles off the pace, you know. That's the plan.
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of the parts you have on the car now, it's like they're new parts to everybody, like, so you're almost the kind of the guinea pigs testing and trying these parts, so there's no base setup that you can go back to.
No, well, them Oland's dampers that we're running in the car now, I don't believe they've ever been in an automobile as such, you know, and there's no data at all, and we're sort of using bits of data from the version before Oland's dampers, but they're totally different anyway, you know. But that's sort of what we're trying to start on, you know. So yeah, but as we've gone on, we're learning a bit more about them, and you know, the car feels really, really good. Where they seem to be a good difference is on bumps or jumps or uneven road. The cars, they seem to be able to soak it up really good, you know what I mean. And there's extra travel in the front and back dampers than what would be normally, you know. And you'd notice that when the car be going light and that the wheels are staying on the ground, like, you know. And so yeah, although we started off with no setup, we have somewhere to start now, you know what I mean. And we can still do a bit more tweaking, you know. But yeah, a lot of the parts in the car, you know, or development sort of stuff that we haven't really been fitted to anything before. So, but I think we have her. She's fairly well sussed there now, you know what I mean. Like, whatever about doing a few more just setups, maybe with a different spring or something like that. But overall, I think now we have it sussed eventually.
Yes.
Took a wee while, you know. So, but as Bobby said, we were doing a bit of testing before the Circuit of Ireland, and we're getting a bit stroppy. I was getting a bit stroppy because it wasn't going the right way for us, you know. The car was actually getting worse, and Bobby sort of said afterwards, he says, I think you're expecting a wee bit too much here. He says, you know, these things have never been in anything before, so, you know, we have to go it has to get bad before they get
Yes.
better. You know what I mean?
You have to
that's
find
what
out
happens
what's
when you're
wrong
developing.
before you can find out what's right.
Yeah,
Really, almost. Yeah.
So, and then also with we're on the Michelin tires, and these are we've never used them, that construction of a Michelin tire on the front of the car too, and just figuring out the right pressures to be running on it, and like you have to be really aggressive with the tire to get it to switch on. You know what I mean? Which wouldn't really suit Daniel's style of driving. So what we found then in West Cork was Daniel wasn't being aggressive enough for it, and when the car wasn't doing what he was wanting, he was sort of cowering off a bit off it.
Right.
Whereas what we've done on the circuit there, and we're being really aggressive, and we're letting the car understeer and doing them things, but then they'd switch on and they work really well. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So we just didn't know that about the tires as well. You know, so we're still learning. Like to think we're rallying nearly 20 years and we're still learning, like, you know, but we are still learning. So
like every day's a school day, as they say, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And the cars, like it's 10 years ago since we won the rally in Monaghan, the Monaghan Stages rally, and like the cars have come on somewhat in the last 10 years. Like, you know, somebody asked me before, do you think the pace is up? And I said, well, for definite, the cars have got much quicker, like, you know, them escorts, like, you know, but they're still very safe and everything, but their ability to go around the corner and go over a bump has changed an awful lot in the last 10 years, you know, so we're having to learn what the capabilities of the car is now, you know what I mean? So, yeah, every day is a school day. Yeah, every stage is learning.
It's all that new technology and the tires and the suspension, you know, more so than probably outright power. You know, the power was always there. Like maybe 10 years ago, there's probably a wee bit more, but it's all the other smaller stuff that it's not visible to the naked eye that it's making such a difference now.
Oh, 100%. Like, you know, we always thought, like, how would you say it? Yeah, power. We always thought that you didn't need any more power than we ever had, because you couldn't nearly make use of that power back then, but now you can make use of it all. The car, there's more traction with the setups, the suspensions and the tires now. There's better traction and everything. So, you know, that you're 100% right, like in what you're saying, that everything around the engine, the power has moved on a small bit, but everything else around it, like, you know, and the brakes and the dampers and everything has changed a lot. So you're able to drive the car harder around the corner, and you're able to brake later and do all them things. So it's just learning, getting to know where the line is. You know what I mean? How far you can push it.
How far you can push it. Yeah.
So we found out the hard way in Galway, you know, with the brakes deck and that. But you have to when you're out there, you have to put your neck on the line, and sometimes it doesn't work out, and sometimes it does. Like, you know, but it's great now too that, like, there's such a range of competition in every class and everything now, like, and everybody seems to take rallying a lot more serious, you know, maybe than what would have been going on maybe 15 years ago. Not you know what I mean? Like, everybody's putting an awful lot of effort into their notes and their testing and, you know, preparing for, you know, the competition. There's a lot more competition there, I think, than there would have been in the past, you know.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, you might in the past it'd be different rallies, it'd be different competition, but now, like, it's every rally to go to, like, there's fantastic competition there to be racing. That, like,
there's no soft rallies now as such, you know. It's every stage counts. You know, like the likes of West Cork, like a half spin, even the circuit there, you know, like it was like down to point something of a second. Like it is. And but as you say, then that's all. Then, you know, the prep going into the DVD, the test, and you know the time that us spectators don't see. That, you know, there's hours and days of prep going in to get into to that level. It's not just a matter of turning up and jumping into the car.
No. If you want to be at the sharp end of it, like, you have to put an awful lot of effort into it, you know. And rallying is sort of like a life when you want to be competitive, and you're that way. Like, I don't like saying it, but I don't do rallies for fun. The buzz I get out of rallying is being competitive and the time, and, you know, that's where I get the kick out of it, like, you know what I mean? So, and if you want to be at that end, you know, you have to put an awful lot of effort into it, like, you know what I mean? And I work for myself, and I don't get really putting as much time into it as I would like, but like Daniel and Bobby, like they're putting and Finton and all the lads, they put in an awful lot of effort. Like, and it's the same in every camp. You can see it. Anybody that's going, that's competitive in their class or competitive in the rally, you know, in the background there's a lot of work going on there. You know, that some people don't see, like, you know what I mean. But there is a lot of, there's no such thing as just jumping into a rally car now and going and being competitive straight away. I don't believe anymore.
Yeah, days ago. But you talked about, you know, like the Monaghan there, 2012. Like probably one of your better days in a rally car.
It was a fantastic day. It was a fantastic feeling. And listen, if Niall had stayed going, we wouldn't have won the rally. You know what I mean? Niall had won the rally, so it wasn't that we bet everybody else and won the rally, but it's just the way it finished up, and it was fantastic to win my home rally. You know what I mean? In a modified car. Like, I wasn't born the last time a Mark Trasker had won that rally. You know, so. It was a fantastic day, and the actual rally itself was a fantastic rally. Monaghan's always very, very good, but that year there was one 16-mile stage and it was class. The last stage of the rally was the last stage in the loop. It was fantastic, like it was, and they really suited the escorts. Like, you know, they were class stages. Desi Keenan on the rally that time, like, and it was a fantastic rally now. Yeah,
and like, you know, I think it'll be one of those iconic images. Yourselves and Gary just gone down, is it Balnode? Is it the wee villages are coming down?
Down over the crest, down the Balnode and Gordon Square right there. Like, it was, it was class. Like, you know, and people always ask me. We had the shunt that day. We went backwards into an old scour valve thing, and I jumped out and went round and had a look, and it didn't look as bad as it felt. And then went back round and I said to Daniel, I says, right, light that you up, we're going here. And he said, cheers, do you think? And I said, yeah. So I jumped in, and then Gary come down and he sort of had a bit of an overshoot too, like, and he got torn around, and then Gary took off and we took off behind him, and I just reached up and I switched off the in-car camera, and then more people has asked me about the in-car of that, because that was, I'd say there was still, we did about 12 mile behind Gary in the road, like, you know, and it wasn't that he was holding us for 12 mile.
No.
I just said to Daniel at one stage, I says, when we go over the finish line, make sure you're on his bumper anyway, like, you know, and that's the way we left it. But, and I think it took Gary a wee while to figure out that we were behind him, you know.
Yes, because he was just fully focused on what he was doing as well.
Yeah, well, obviously, whenever he seen us going off the road, he knew then that he was in the lead of the two-wheel drive, and he was high up in the overall thing, you know, so he was just wanting to get to the finish of the stage too, you know. But,
absolutely.
It was a fantastic feeling afterwards. That's actually 10 years ago now, like, you know, it'll be 10 years on from that now, but yeah, it was a fantastic feeling, and you know, we never really got to the stage where we'll be in the right machinery to be winning rallies overall, like, and you know, to be able to win it like that in escort, it was fantastic. It was a real special one now, to be fair, like, and it was a good day's crack too, like, you know, we had a great day's crack.
And like, Monaghan is becoming, you know, almost second to Donegal now, and the one that the national boys want, you know, it's the two-wheel drive trophy that they want on the mantelpiece. Like, what is that like in Monaghan on the week leading up to the rally? There must be some buzz about it.
Oh, there's a fantastic buzz week leading up to the rally every year in Monaghan, like, you know what I mean? And Monaghan is a very, very competitive rally and always is, and there's a lot of great drivers from Monaghan, you know, that come out to do the home rally and everything. And I'm sure everybody's talking about it, like, you know, the amount of people that was asking us in the Circuit Ireland about, he's going to Monaghan, are you ready for Monaghan? And sadly, we're not getting to do Monaghan this year, but it's just with the way the championships laid out. There was the Circuit when the weekend gone by, you have Monaghan this weekend coming, and then Clarny's the following weekend, like, and we couldn't do it with work commitments and everything. It just didn't suit. So, much to Eamon's disappointment, we decided not to do it. I think he was holding out hope that we would, but that's what we're sticking to what we planned at the start of the year, you know. Yeah. But yeah, at the Circuit, like, everybody, and then we're saying, we're going, oh Jesus, it'll be a great rally. Like, there's a serious entry for it this year. Like, it's
unbelievable
entry. Like, it'll be a fantastic rally to watch. But yeah, there's always great buzz leading up to Monaghan, and they're using 3 great stages this year as well. You know, they're Knockathallen, I think, the 4th one, and then the bridge, the stage second one starting at Stonebridge, and then the 3rd one's Nabog. And I'd have done all them stages before, like, and they're class stages, like, you know, that the Knockathallen one, the 4th stage, would be using a good bit of that 16-mile stage that we used 10 years ago, like, and it's class.
Yes.
And then the one starting at Stonebridge is it's a fast stage too, Stonebridge, and then Abog is a real driving stage too. So hopefully, it'll be a good weekend weather-wise,
Yes.
and hopefully that, everybody gets to see the spectacle that Monaghan does be, and people use Monaghan a lot too. Like a lot of people that's going to Donegal, they'll go to Monaghan before Donegal to get prepped for Donegal. It's the hot in Monaghan and it gets them going, So it'll be a good rally this year, and it'll be a pity not to be doing it. But I hope to get back up the road to watch it and to step about and have a look around. So I'm looking forward to that too.
Excellent. So also then coming up in May, you're doing a charity event. Do you want to tell us a wee bit about that?
Yeah. There's a couple of lads local to me where I live now in Mayo, and one of them sort of jokingly said, "Would you have any interest in doing this?" They call it meeting in Clare Island. They done it back, I think, 7 years ago. And it was a great, event to run, and it raised a lot of money that time, And so I and he said, "Oh, Jesus, yeah, no bother." I'd be comfortable enough in the water, because I grew up beside a lake, but I don't do a lot of swimming. But there's a group of us swimming, there's 7 swimmers, and then there's about 17 people kayaking, So, but of course, the age that I am, kayaking wasn't good enough. I said I go swimming, so that's the plan. Anyway, we're swimming and kayaking from Runa Pier, which is outside Westport, over to Clare Island. So I think it's about just shy of 6 kilometres, So. Yeah, I'm trying to be training for that too, along with work on the rally, and it's busy, but we're hoping to have a good event. There's a lot more people participating in it now than there was 7 years ago, so we're hoping to raise a sizable amount of money. There's 3 great charities. It's Motor Neurons is the first one, and then it's Bumbulance, and then the Byrne Fishermen's Rescue and Recovery Service. So they're 3 good charities, you know what I mean? And we're hoping to try and raise as much as we can for them. I know Motor Neurons got a good lift there with the
charity.
And then there was another Hold for Hope was ran in Mayo there a couple of weeks ago, and they raised a serious amount of money for it as well. But it's still one that's very close to us all, the Motor Neurons. So we wanted to try and raise a few pounds for them too, So we're really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge. For me, it's more of a mental challenge that I want to be able to do it. You know what I mean? When you're doing long distance swimming, it's not, how would you say, it's not really hard on the body, because you're not racing.
No, but it's on the mind.
Yes, it's in the mind, you know what I mean? And that's for me where the challenge will be, and I'm looking forward to that challenge, as if I haven't enough on me.
And if somebody wants to donate, how would they go about doing that?
Well, if on my Facebook page there's a link to iDonate, or you can just Google iDonate and just search Meet Me in Clare Island. And the way the iDonate page works is when you donate onto it, the donations are divided equally among the 3
3 charities,
3 charities that we're using. So that's the way it's done. So listen, any and all support would be greatly appreciated. And if you're not in a position to make a donation or anything, even if you like it or share it, if you just share it on and somebody that is in a better position or whatever, and they're able to make a donation, well, that's as good as you making a donation as far as I'm concerned, So that's the main way we're raising money. We also have sponsorship cards and that, you know what I mean? And I'd have one with me up at the rally in Monaghan. As I say, any sort of help at all would be greatly appreciated on that one, Kevin.
No bother at all. So I'll share that the link there and below the description of the video here. So nice to catch up there with Andrew. We also like to pass on our condolences to Johnny Trainer and the whole Trainer family. Such sad news coming through there yesterday evening. Looking forward now to this weekend. We have the Croatia WRC round, and quite a lot of Irish hunters there again. We have John and William back out again. Great to see Adam, and that back getting the WRC back as well, never mind. And Craig Green too, we should mention as well. Craig and Paul back.
I know it's like a new season now. I don't know how long it's been. It's probably 2 months. 2 months. So what to expect. It's the first asphalt round of the season, albeit Monte Carlo ended up fairly dry. So if we're taking lessons learned from that, you expect M Sport to be on the rails there, and we'll know who drives for M Sport. So it could be quite a nice weekend for us. But yeah, let's say there's going to be a few interesting things. Maybe see how Hyundai get on. They struggled on Monty, didn't do as bad in Sweden, and really, I think when you look outside, the Hyundai lead drivers, so obviously they've got Tonic and Thierry Neuville, with Loeb and Ogier not there. There's definitely a drop in terms of rally wins and victories, and it does play into the hands of Craig Breen and Paul Nagel, maybe.
Yeah, they're, it's not right to say, but lack of experience, compared to the others. But like nobody has the same experience of one as Loeb and Ogier. So as you say, it may open the door for them. It would be fantastic to see. Craig often talked about, he feels more at home in tarmac. Maybe Croatia wasn't the best event for him last year, but I think it was, he was coming into that a wee bit raw. But this year now he has lots of testing under his belt. Definitely seemed very comfortable there in Monte Carlo in the car too. So fingers crossed for a strong weekend.
Yeah, I think Alfin Evans will be another guy hoping for a better weekend. Obviously he can go well on tarmac too, as we all know. But yeah, well, not Toyota. There's Blappy and Robin Pera as well, and maybe they're not tarmac specialists at all. So yeah, I think
remember Lappy from the Circuit Ireland, for a tarmac.
Yeah, well, that's true. He didn't go so bad for a Finn first time in Ireland.
Yes,
but yeah, it's definitely a big opportunity for Craig and Paul here. And of course they'll want to be finding their feet still in M Sport. But yeah, let's hope for a good result, I think.
Absolutely. And JWRC is back for round 2 as well. Our boys out there, you'd like to think that the asphalt will play into their hands.
Yeah, hopefully. To be honest, they probably need it to play into their hands because it's the only asphalt round of the season. So they'll be wanting to maximise that. Obviously, John won there last year, and he'll be looking to let Byrne see what the top of the Croatia podium's like this year. And we all know how well Will and Liam have been going in their 2 outings over here. So yeah, I think we can definitely hope for another double podium, maybe.
Absolutely, it would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Too. And then the Olympus Rally in America, another very strong contingent over there. Unbelievable. Great to see Barry McKenna and Leon Jordan back in the Fiesta too. Hopefully with a wee bit of luck on their side, they could be back in the reckoning. But there must be at least 8 or 9 other crews there, either driver, co-driver, or whatever. Great to see this rally in Malarkey. I don't know. We're spreading our wings around the world at this stage.
Definitely, and closer to home, Monaghan. What about that for an entry again? It's going to be some race in Monaghan, and yeah, it's just a special event, isn't it?
It really is. Like I was saying to somebody, like the reserve rally, or the reserve list, you'd go and watch that rally.
Yeah, you're right.
But the top 10, fantastic. The modified, unbelievable. Especially the week before Killarney, you think of a lot of boys maybe would be holding out and waiting to go to Killarney, but no, Kiernan, they're all there, bar 1 or 2.
Yeah, I don't know. It's when you think of certain rallies, like you always associate Donegal as the big international, or the big local race. Everybody wants to win Donegal. It's sort of like that. In Monaghan with the national guys, there's so many people in that championship from County Monaghan, Armagh, Cavan, Donegal. Even's not too far away. It definitely seems to have that bit about it, and I think Monaghan's just a rallying county, isn't it? And even stages like stages are always fast and the spectators are always out there too. It's just got that something special about it.
Absolutely, yeah. I think that the Monaghan roads have a characteristic all of their own. That they're normally real good, fast flowing stages and bring out the best in drivers, the whole crew. I think really, so
Even the battles or the wee stories that we have from years gone by, and it's not even years gone by. It's local years, and you just seem to have these wee things that happen, whether it's the
Daniel
close battles with
Daniel,
exactly.
Gary McPhillips or Donna and the Focus,
Against Sam and the R5,
or Josh and Sam, their battles that the two of them had. It's like there's, as you say, it always produces that wee bit of magic. I think is the right way of describing it.
And I don't know if this is right too, but it's nearly like the first blood going towards Donegal. Even you start to see guys in World Rally cars racing against R5s, and you had that with Donna and Sam a few years ago, and Donna came out on top there. You nearly thought that this might be his year in Donegal, and you just have all those wee different things to it. Everybody's I guess we're coming into summertime, and you have that in the back of your mind too.
And the amount more extra modified guys that's appeared for Monaghan, and that's their first outing, and the aspiration is towards June really as well, isn't it too?
Yeah, it's the big warm up, but definitely it's not that they want to warm up to bed themselves in. They'll want to warm up to try and win the modifieds there. But yeah.
Right, I suppose we've got to that time of the show again. We do our predictions, so I suppose we should look at last week's first. Adam, you have them there.
Yes, I don't want to read mine out. So I predicted Johnny Greer I like going for surprises, you see, so I'll just clear that up now. So I stuck down Johnny to surprise all in the Citroen and show all the polos what car might be the one to have, but that didn't quite work out. I did say Alastair Fisher for second, and Marion Evans for third. Connor had Josh Moffat, Callum Devine, and Johnny Greer. So you got two guys in the podium. And Kevin, you had Josh Moffat, Callum Devine, and Marion Evans. So you got the same two.
Then looking forward now to this weekend, I suppose we'll start with Croatia. Connor couldn't be with us tonight, so he is picked he's thinking Croatia, Kelly, Byrne, and Evans. That's his podium there. What's your thoughts on the podium on that?
Oh, it's a tough one. I feel like it's made tougher because Hyundai didn't go so well in Croatia. So normally you would have Tanak or Neville to go well. But I feel like that Hyundai might struggle again with its setup. So we'll go for Byrne for a win. Evans second and Neville third.
Very good. I'm going to join you. I'm going to go for a Byrne one as well. That would be fantastic to see. I'd like to I think maybe Kelly second and Neville third. So interesting to see. I just think Evans seems this year for some reason just seems to be a wee bit under pressure, making wee silly mistakes. So interesting to see. Then Monaghan. Right, suppose I'll go first this time. For Monaghan, Josh, he's the man of the year so far. Sam, great to see Sam back in a four-wheel drive car again. Interesting to see how he settles back into it. And Declan Boyle, I think Boyle down for third. Seemed to be loving the polo, just the way it handles. And I think, the circuit, was he on the pace? Not the ultimate pace, but he was getting closer and closer, So I think he'll not be too far away. And then for the modified, I'll go a wee bit left field maybe, is Kevin Gallagher back in the Darien. I think them roads down there can suit him. And Kevin's just seems to have that natural ability to be able to step into a car. He probably hasn't rallied now in 3 years maybe at this stage, but still has that natural ability to get back in and go. Connor then, his call on it is Sam, Josh and Darren Gass then, and he's going the modified Gary Kieran. So, Adam, your thoughts on it?
I think Josh is hard to look past. Obviously down at home, and we know he's getting every ounce of power out of that Hyundai. Yeah, I think he's going to be too hard to beat. Even with Sam stepping back in, I think Josh will have the edge. So we'll go Josh, Sam, and a guy on the reserve list I'm going to stick in for third is Rob Barble. He went very well in the first round. So yeah, I think Rob will be up there. And two-wheel drive, I was stuck between Gary Kiernan and Jason Black and Desi Keenan as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. It really is like a pin on the list, isn't it? You know, so.
Yeah, but I'll say Jason will pick up a two-wheel drive Giant Killen win again.
So I think that'll wrap us up for this episode. So tune in next week to see how badly our predictions went. So once again, thank you very much for listening. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, all those kind of things. It's been all your likes and shares and views have been more than welcome. So until the next time, take care, speak soon, and bye.